So yes, further toward about the Hathors. It's interesting because I'm writing at the moment, you know, the fuckery of Egypt. Who's who and what's what. You know, who's actually a god. There's no gods. Do you know what I mean? Like who they've harnessed in the fuckery and who actually was here first. So who are the invaders and who are here first? And of course, Hathors have always come up very prominently around me. You know, and the Hathor energy with the Egyptian magics is very closely tied in. So my experience opening up who and what the fucking Hathors are, you know, was great. So it was like I really felt them as another A10 off planet, and they'd been working on Venus or running Venus or they've been using them to power that Venusian construct, and they'd been to anchor the Venus construct. So it would be part of that whole fucking harvesting system. And they use sound. So it's kind of like if you could think that these Hathor energies or frequencies were able to work with the air elemental and sound. And they were, you know, like what I'm saying is they weaponised it.
Yeah, right. Wow.
So that's been great because I've had a few of them around at the moment. So it's been really good to piece their puzzles, like piece what's happening with them together with what I've been feeling and seeing a broader picture. Which, of course, brings me to our discussion point today. I posted in the RAS bot, in the RA page, because I thought, you know, it may raise some discussion. But the idea is that this hypothesis, what if, right, we're all A11s having a great time. I'll read it because, you know, I'll keep referring to it and my eyes will go like that and I'll look like I'm fucking going to have some kind of a defunction.
Sure.
All right, so this is the hypothesis. We have the organic node timeline A11 developing. For all those who need to know what A11 is, read Mythos of Mu. They're basically human DNA template, but the difference with A10 and A11 is A11 has developed with Mu, on Mu, as part of Mu's experience. A10, same DNA template that they've developed off planet or wherever you want to say, anywhere but here.
Off of Mu.
Off of Mu. So, yeah, there's a difference for us, we've found, developing with Mu. E.g., you can dream simultaneous realities as Mu can. All right, well, let's not get into that just yet. Let's just do our hypothesis. So, back to it. Organic node timeline, A11 developing. A10s from other seedings come here. Yeah, I can dig that. A10s off planet become involved with the Archon agenda. Well, yeah, we've seen it spread now beyond our solar system. A11 neophytes with big egos, I don't know how else to say, invite these A10 off planet Archon connected fuckers here, and here we have the breach. Okay? Now, I think that this really happened only about 200... Well, I think that the breach came earlier, but the big fuckery came about 200 years ago where they got a foothold enough to do this, where the bomb was set off, we tilted, right? But in that, I think I remember writing about this in the blog like fucking a while ago. I'll check it out. I'll have to go back and do a revisit. And it was like I could see the loop going back to Atlantis. But I think what's happened is, and this was inspired by someone in the Unfuckers room. So thanks, dude. I'm not allowed to say the names because it is a secret group.
Yeah.
But you know who you are. Anyway, so the idea is that I think that they've fucked it in the sense of because it's inorganic. It's a Fibonacci sequence. So it's going back smaller.
Looping.
So eventually there's going to be that 0 point where we can either fuck it off or they loop us back in. I think what they're trying to do is take us back to the original looping, right, to try and see how they can fix it. Because at the moment, they can only hold us for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, right.
They
See,
thought they
yeah,
were getting a
okay.
golden mean spiral because that's how we operate. No. They've put it into a Fibonacci sequence, which by definition has a beginning and has an end. Diglet?
Yes, yes, no, I dig it. The movement definitely that resonates quite strongly. I get it.
And maybe
So
deja
you were
vu,
saying that,
well, maybe
yeah,
deja vu is essence telling you, yeah, you've done this before. This, and leaving markers. This was right. This was, you know what I mean? Like emotional resonance markers. Because when you have true deja vu, where it's balls to bone, the whole fucking body goes, that is usually preempted by a feeling. Do you know what I mean?
completely.
So it's
Yes, I
kind
do.
of like
Yeah.
essence leaving markers for you to say, hello, keep it coming.
Right.
Or maybe we said no and have made it infinite. I don't know, but the point being, I think we're reaching a 0 point. It can't flip
Where
any.
they're right.
This is why stuff like that, Bluebeard, right? Think of Bluebeard when we saw him doing the opera house surfing, which if we look now can't happen because the tide's running the wrong fucking way.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like
completely.
invert, 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 invert.
It's all glitching now. Like it's major, major, major glitch city.
Indeed. And at the same time, right, so they've been trying this Philadelphia experiment, the Montauk experiment, all this shit, right, is them trying to make sure Moo doesn't get upright, trying
Mm,
to travel back and reset their fuckery. Hasn't happened. It's gotten worse. And I think that's what
yeah.
set it off. Dunno, just saying. Hypothesizing.
Yeah, well when I wrote to kind of have a feel of what this Philadelphia experiment, the Montauk experiment is,
Well,
um
hang on, for
the
those at
feel
home, it was like, Teresa's, what's that? And I said, have a ride, get the vibe. So this is interesting because this isn't you cutting and pasting from some fucking legend AI has put up on Wikipedia. This is you
no.
really having the experience of the so far concept. Okay, sorry, go
Yeah.
on.
Well, what it felt like was I definitely felt the hologram and how it's almost like encased around, and it had a direct connection to it, as if it was pulling the net of the hologram closer, or if it was just kind of tightening the reins. That's what I felt like it was doing. Like we were, you know how in a pool, how you're swimming and then you kind of you flip over to swim the other side. It was like doing that. It was flipping it over to go the other side.
Because see, if we're stuck in this time loop of fuckery, right, then sure, they can mine the planet. No one will know. Think of that Russian video, you know, like where it was all like the planet's been strip mined and the trees are not, oh, sorry, the mountains, etc., are actually old trees.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that might
And
be
yeah.
bleeding back into the reality because they can't flip the hologram, right? So they're trying to, some of the
Right.
disclosure's coming, but they're trying to, you know,
Oh, I get
does
it.
that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of what okay, what I feel like you're saying is that because they're having trouble flipping it, the original's coming through again. Or everything's sort of glitching and there are like bits
Well,
and
the
pieces of
memories are coming
information
back.
filtering through.
People's memories are
Yeah.
coming back. That's what I think.
Well, I kind of feel like they're having trouble flipping it because there's some big fat glitches happening. Like
Well,
there's some
they're not being
serious
able to because
cracks.
Moo's getting strong enough, and enough people are waking up that in their symbiosis with Moo, it's making her stronger. You know,
Yeah.
and so the geometries that they've had before to hold these macabres in place just don't hold.
Mm.
You know, a lot of people go on about the flat Earth. I get it. Maybe they've just cordoned off a whole fucking bunch of us sitting here, 6 billion on Earth, or, you know, let's see how many are
Mm.
organic. But anyway, whatever, running this show, keeping this fucking fuckery going while they're doing what they want to move.
Oh my God. You know what? I reckon that's a real valid idea, honestly. I had a session with someone yesterday, and I found the one real amazing experience, and I've had this experience with myself before, where I was in um, like a metal casing, and I knew that it was like that I'd been captured. And it was the same for this particular person. Only what I could see in her was how she was fed a reality, and she was so in it that it was just going over and over and over again. Like, and it was sort of referred to this matrix, right? But when she was there, it's like she hadn't been there for very long. So I wonder, whilst we're kind of fueling this kind of weird reality, getting distracted by the bullshit
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that isn't real,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that they're actually doing shit around us.
Yes.
Like, it's just, I totally
Well,
validate that.
there's got to be a reason for it apart from harvesting. When I say apart from harvesting, well, it's really one big harvest, but I mean apart from just harvesting emotions, just harvesting experience, just, running a reality.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I'm saying, broaden your scope, people.
Wow.
I mean, you still got the whole thing with these loops of reincarnation. You've still got the whole thing with these dimensions of self, dimensions of dreaming. And as this whole thing's becoming upright and the geometries are falling away, so are the compartmentalizations of you. So all those parts of you are coming into coming into memory, coming into knowing. Johnny was using the analogy of, that Fringe episode where the two realities are so close together and then they bring them and they don't do it properly. And as the dust settles, there's the guy all melded into each other. You know the ones?
I don't,
Like
I don't remember that episode, but yeah.
Oh no, you would, trust me. It's when
Okay.
the first of the parallel universe. Well, the parallel universe is when it's first sort of coming to the fore, and he's got one building, John Anthony or James whatever that fucking baddie is, and then the other
Yeah.
guy, right? And he's got one in this universe and one in the parallel universe, and he opens a doorway and brings them together, but he doesn't do it properly, the open and closing. So when the dust settles, some of the people are half inside the
Oh,
the
yeah, right.
construct, or they're all melded together like their heads coming out of their stomach and all this sort of shit, which is interestingly very much the same as what happens in the Philadelphia experiment.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So the idea with the Philadelphia experiment, from the AI perspective, or from what they're telling us, is that they were trying to cloak. Happened in 19 whatever the fuck, I can't remember, Philadelphia.
43?
Because there was Die Glock, there was the German one. I think that would have been 43. Then there was 63. That was Philadelphia. Then the 80s Montauk. Then supposedly 2012 was another one. See how they're getting smaller?
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps over that. Yeah, right.
Right now, I think the first one was in Atlantis. But then again, how long ago was Atlantis?
It can't be that long. When I feel into,
And when we say Atlantis, my version of Atlantis.
yeah, of course. This doesn't feel like, this whole thing does not feel very long at all. Sometimes I find that it's even less than 200 years, like it feels even less.
But how long does it take them to strip mine the planet?
Strip mine the planet. Oh yes, yeah, with the thing.
Well, why are
you
they
were
distracting
talking
us?
before.
Why have they got us here?
Do you think that they just want? Well, they obviously want what Moo has, but it's like I feel like they're raping the planet for minerals, maybe.
Well, what are
Would
minerals?
make
But
sense.
part of Moo. DNA, Moo's DNA.
Do you think that maybe
So I think
if they're trying to do that,
That's all I do. No. Yeah.
that maybe when they're extracting what they want from Mu, do you think that they're trying to maybe clone a different version of Mu?
Take her life force, use her life force, get her to grow a planet for them. Maybe Venus, maybe Mars, maybe all that bullshit are their versions to attempt to artificially grow the Mu stuff.
Another Mu.
Well, they do it to us. Hello, clone.
Wow.
Hello, cyborg.
Those motherfuckers. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I'm hating that, but I'm vibing that truth. Wow.
Well, let's start looking at the bigger picture. It's more than just our emotions they're harvesting. They've been harvesting our creativity, our life force, etc. Well, what's Mu's creativity and life force? Because they'll be harvesting that too of her.
Of course.
I mean, is
She's
there
the
not
big
gold in every speck of Mu? Because that gold is her essence.
Yeah.
So does that mean if they take a handful of sand or a handful of Mu's structure, they get that gold, that essence? So they run off to Mars and start powering their little macabre there with it?
Oh my God.
And of course, if we're in symbiosis with Mu, we're helping to run that shit.
Wow.
So this is not about pulling our symbiosis from Mu.
No.
This is about in symbiosis with Mu, pulling the life force. That's a whole different ballgame.
Getting the horn over that. That's amazing.
Right?
That's really awesome.